Hi to all. Myself, Dr. Redya Jadav, working as a assistant professor in the Department of CSE from the Mlritm. Today I am going to discuss about conversion of NFA to DFA. In the previous class, I was explained what is the NFA, what is the DFA, and types of finite automata. Here that what is the model of finite automata. Now in this class, I am going to discuss about types of conversion of NFA to DFA. The problem is problem statement X. We know that conversion of NFA to DFA. So what is that? Here that NFA consists of 5 tuples. What are that? Q, sigma, delta, Q naught, and F. Sir, what is that? Q, it is a set of states. Sigma is that input alphabet. But here the delta is a transition function. Q naught is the initial state and F is the final state. But here, transition function, it moves from the one state to another state. What is the transition function for the NFA? Q into sigma tends to the 2 power Q. It generates the multiple path. Mean it moving from here that current transition Q naught with the A, it goes to that Q1. Or delta, here that Q naught with the A, that it goes to that Q naught. It generates that multiple path from the current state to that with that current input. But here the problem statement, let x, qx, sigma, delta x, q naught, fx be an NFDA, that is called as the NFA, non-deterministic finite automata, which accept the language, it is called as a LX, L of x. That is the NFA. We have to design an equivalent DFA. We have to design equivalent DFA. How? Then I want to take y. Y equal to qy, sigma, delta y, q naught, fy. So whatever, it is the same. But in this both, transition function is the different. In the NFA, q into sigma, it goes to that 2 power q. But in the DFA, here that q into sigma goes to that only q. Current state with that current input, it goes to that only one state. The following procedure to convert NFA to equivalent DFA. What are the steps are used for conversion of NFA to DFA? Now, algorithm, see that algorithm, input is that non-deterministic finite automata, then NFA is given. But output is, it will be converted into that equivalent deterministic finite automata. First of all, what is the step 1? Input is that NFA, output is that equivalent, here that DFA. But here what are the steps are required? First of all, create state table from the given NFA. Mean NFA transition diagram is given. We have to create transition table. We have to create that transition table. We know that transition table, it's contained the state, row will be contained the state, column will be a sigma input alphabet. Mean it is the q naught, q1 and q2. It is the final state. But here the sigma mean input alphabet. Either you can take that A or B. A and B. Q, what is that? Q naught with the A, you have to determine, it goes to that state. Q naught with the B and Q1 with the A and Q1 with the B. You are going to find out that next state. So as per as that, given that transition diagram. Next, step 2. Create a blank state table under possible input alphabet equivalent DFA. But what are the steps? Here the input alphabet, it is the sigma, AB. And what are the input? Here that what is the input states? Want to create blank state table. Next, step 3. Mark the state of DFA by Q naught, because in the NFA, because Q naught is the initial state in that NFA and DFA. Because of it will be start from Q naught only. It is the initial state. The same as that DFA. Step 4. Find out the combination states Q0, Q1, so on, Qn for each possible input alphabet. Mean, first of all, we are going to create that transition table for NFA. Next, transition table for DFA, all possible combinations. Draw the transition table. Here, create the transition table by using with the transition diagram. From the transition table of NFA, we want to create transition table for DFA, then explain later. Step 5. Each time we generate a new DFA. Whatever here that, it the initial state is the Q0 in the DFA. It generates the new state Q0, Q1, or here the input is the A, and B is the Q1, Q0. Q1, Q0. Mean we have to find out that what is the new state. Here the Q0 is the old state, Q0, Q1 is the new state, and here the Q1, Q0 is the one more new state. Mean each time we generate the new DFA state under the input alphabet columns, we have to apply the step 4 again. If we found that new state in the DFA, we have to take that is a state. We have to apply the step 4. We have to determine the combination of the states Q0, Q1 to Qn. Again, otherwise go to the step 6. What is the step 6? The state which contain any final state of NFA or the final state of DFA. In the NFA, the final state is that Q3. In the DFA, in the states, where that Q3 is available, all our states are the final state. See that example. It is that example of conversion of NFA to DFA. But here it is a transition diagram. It is a transition diagram. Transition diagram of it is a NFA. But here that we have to create transition table. Transition table for NFA. But how to create that transition table? We have to use that transition diagram of NFA. How many states? Here that A, B, C, D, E. So all are this that. Here are 5 states in the transition diagram. We have to take the Q0, Q1, Q2, depend on you only. But I want to take, here I want taken that only A, B, C, D, E are the 5 states. It is a row. Row contain the states. This is the column. Column contain that input alphabet. What are the input alphabet in that? Sigma. Here that Q, A with 0 goes to the Q, here the C. And A with 1, current state is the Q, A, current input is the 1, it goes to that E. Mean, how many input alphabet are there in this the transition diagram? 0, 1. Now can find out that transition table for NFA. It is that states, here A, B, C, D are the states, 0 and 1 is the current input alphabet. States, it is the current input alphabet. How many states in the transition diagram? A, B, C, D, E. We have to take in. Now, current state is the A, with that current input is 0. Here that current state is the A. If the current input is the 0. What is that? A with 0. A with 0, it goes to the D. A with 0, it goes to the D. A with 0, it goes to that B. Mean, it goes to that all the states in the transition diagram. Q now, here the A with 0, A itself only. A with 0, it goes to that B. We have to take in. A with 0, it goes to that C. A with 0, it goes to that D. A with 0, it goes to that D and E. That is that Q-na A with 0. Now you can take delta A with 1. It goes to that how many state? You have to find out. A with 1. Here that A with 1. A with 1. D. A with 1. It goes to that E. So that's why you taken that to return D comma E. It is that A with 1. Next, I want to take one more state is the B. Current state is at 0. Current input is the 0 and 1. B with 0. Now can check that table. Here the transition diagram. B with 0. Current state is that delta B with 0. It goes to that state. B with 0. Here's this one. It is a C. Written. Next, B with 1. B with 1. B with 1. It moves to that E. Yes, E. That's why we written. Next, now can take the transition diagram. It is a starting state and E is a final state. We know that. Now can take that C. Delta. Current state is the C with 0. Current input is 0. Here the C. Now can take that C. C with 0. It's not possible. There is no transition. Now can take that pi. So that's why we written the pi. Next. Delta. C with 1. Current state is the C. Current input is that 1. It goes to that state. You are going to find out. C with 1. C with 1 goes to that B state. That's why we written that B. Next, you can take that one more state, D. Here the delta. Current state is the D, 0. Current state is the D with that current input is 1. Now can find out that. It goes to that state. Current state, D with 0. Yes, it's possible it goes to that E. So that's why written that E. Now, delta current state is the D. Current input is the 1. It's not possible. So that's why you can take that pi. Next state is that E. E with delta. Current state is the E. Current input is the 0. Now can find out delta. E with current state is E. 1 is that input alphabet. See that next state. E with 0. It's not possible. There is no transitions. So that's why you can take the pi. Current state is the E. Current input is the 1. It's possible. There is no transition path. So you can take that pi. So that's why written. This is the transition table for NFA by using with that transition diagram. This NFA should be converted into the DFA. So I want to create transition table for the DFA by using with the transition table of NFA. See that the previously I was explained, it is a 0 and it is a 1. So Q here the current state is the A with that 0. It goes to that A, B, C, D, E. It goes to the multiple path. It generates the multiple path. A with 1, D. B, C. B with 0, C. B with 1, E. C with 0, pi. C with 1, B. But D with 0, E. D with 1, pi. D, there is no transition path. E with 0, pi. E with 1, pi. There is no transition path. By using this, By using with this transition table of NFA, we are going to create that transition table of DFA by using the given above algorithm. Now, see that it is a very difficult to convert, but I want to explain one by one. First of all, you are going to take initial state only. A with 0, A, B, C, D, E, A with 1, D. From this current state, A with 0, A with 1. It is a new state, remembering this one. It is a new state. D also, it is a new state. You can choose that any one of them. You remove this one. Don't compare with that transition table of NFA. Now, what is the new state? A, B, C, D, E. It is that state. How see that? Now, A, B, C, D with 0, determine the next states. A, B, C, D with 1, determine the next state. Now, I want to explain delta A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D, comma, E. With current state is that 0. You can take, how to take delta A, comma, 0 union, delta B, comma, 0 union, delta C, comma, 0 union, delta D, comma, 0 union, and delta E, comma, 0. You have to find out the next state. Delta, current state is A with 0. A with 0. What is that? A with 0, A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. B with 0, C. C is already present in that first state. C with 0, pi. D with 0, E, union. E with 0, it is a pi. Then finally you would get the state A, B, C, D, E. It is that now can take the next state A, B, C, D with 0, then we got that A, B, C, D, E. It is a old state. It is already present in that A with 0. It is a old state. It is a old state. Don't take this one. Now, A, B, C, D with current state is the A, B, C, D. Current state is the A, B, C, D. And input is that 1. Now can find out that it goes to that which state. Same process. Delta A, comma 1 union, delta B, comma 1 union, delta C, comma 1 union, delta D, comma 1 union, delta E, comma 1. See that here that check in the transition table of DFA, NFA. A with 1. A with 1. Yes, it is a D, comma E union. Now B with 1. B with 1 E union. C with 1. It is a pi. D with 1. Yes, it is a pi. E with 1. It is also pi. Then take that come here the union. Then finally you go get that D is the next state. B, D, E. A with 1. A with 1 D. D. And B with 1. Here that B with 1 E. B with 1 E. Next. C with 1, it is a B. Sorry, it is a B. D with 1 pi and E with 1 pi. So whatever union, So E union, it is a B. Now you can take that union part. BDE. Yes, BDE. It is a new state. It is a new state. It is already is over. Next, you can take the new state is that D. New state is the D. Here that new state is the DV. That's why taken. It is a old state. It is already present. A with 0. And D is the new state. So you can take delta D here that D is the new state. DE with 0. Now can take. D is the new state. Only new state you can take. If it is the old state is that, don't forget. Here if you can forget that old state. Delta D with current input is the 0 union delta current state is the E comma 0. You can find out the next state. D comma 0. Yes, it is a E. Union E comma 0 pi. It is a E. And what is that? Transition diagram of transition of D comma E with that current input 0. So whatever E, we got that E. It is a new state. It is a new state. And next, D current state is the DE delta D comma E. Current input is here that 1. You can find out delta D comma 1 union delta D comma E 1 D comma 1 union D E comma 1. You can find out D comma 1. Current state is that D. Current input is 1 pi union E comma 1. Current state is that E. Current input is the 1. Yes, it is also pi. So then you can take that pi. So that's why it's written. Next. Now you can find out that which one is the next new state. Which one is that new state? So D is also completed. What is the new state? It is a old state. ABCD is also old. Then new state is that BDE. So that's why taken that BD is that current state. BD with 0 you can find out. BD with 1 you can find out. Now delta current state is the BD B comma D comma E comma current input is the 0. Now you can find out delta B comma 0 union delta D comma 0 union delta E comma 0. Now you can find out that new state or old state. B comma 0. Yes, it is a C. Union D comma 0. It is a E. Yes, it is a E. Union E comma 0. It is a pi. What is the next state? BDE comma 0. It goes to that C comma E. Yes, that's why I written that C comma E. Sir, C comma E is the new state or old state? Yes, it is a new state. You can find out. Next, current state is the BDE, B comma D comma E, delta. Current input is that. Now you can take 1. Now can find out the next state. Delta B comma 1 union delta D comma 1 union delta E comma 1. You can find out B comma 1 in the end. Here the transition diagram of NFA. B comma 1 mean it is a C union D comma 1 it is a E. B comma 1 it is a E. Sorry, it is a E. B comma 1 E union D comma 1 it is a pi union E comma 1 it is a pi. Then finally find out that what is the next state? It is a E. That's why written that E. It is a old state. It is already present in that D comma E with current input is the 0. It is a old state. Now can find out which one is that new state. See that A, B, C, D is over, D is over, B, D is over, whatever. What is the next state? Yes, what is the next state, Amma? It is that it is a new state. You can find out. C is also new state. What is that? It is a BD is over, ABCD is over, D is over, ABCD is over. Now can take the new state. Here that new state is the E. Determine that current state is the E with that current input is 0 and determine that current state is E and current input is that 1. Now can find out the next state. Delta E comma 0. Delta current state is the E, current input is the 1. You are going to find out E comma 0. Yes, current input is the E with the 0. We got the state pi. So that's why written the pi. Next, delta E comma 1. Current state is the E, current input is the 1. So you can find here the next state. It is a pi. So that's why written. And this one is over. What is that new state? Yes, new state is the CE. So that's why written. State is that CE. Now can determine the next state. Here that C with E is C comma E with the current state is 0. C comma E with the current state is the 1. How to determine? So whatever state is that C comma E. Delta C comma E comma 0 current input C comma E is the current state and current input with that 0. Next, delta C comma E current state with that current input is the 1. Now can determine the next state. We know that delta C comma 0 union delta E comma 0. Apply that delta C comma 0. Yes, C comma 0. C current state, current input is the 0. It is a pi. Union delta E comma 0. Yes, current state is the E, current input is the 0. E comma 0. It is a pi. So that's why taken that pi. That's why taken the pi. Next, current state is the C comma E with the current input is the 1. How to determine the next state? Same process we are going to apply. Delta C comma 1 union delta E comma 1. Now, delta C comma 1. Transition function. Current state is that C. Current state is the C. Current input is the 1. Yes, we determine the B. Union current state E. Find out the transition function. Find out the by using the transition function, find out the next state. Here at E comma 1, current state is the E, current input is the 1. So whatever we determine the pi. It is a B. B. C comma E with 1, it is a B. B is a new state. So new state C is over. What is that? Pi, nothing to use. What is the new state? Yes, B. So that's why you can take that B. Now can take that B. Now can take that B. New state is that B. It is a new state. Now take that state is that B. B with 0. Now can determine the next state. B with 1. Delta. B. Current state is the B. Current input is that 0. Delta. Current state is the B. Current input is that 1. B with 0. See that transition table of NFS. B with 0. Current state is the B. B with 0. It is a C. It is a C. Next. It is a C. That's why I written the C. B with 1. Current state is the B. B with 1. It is a E. Sir, it is a E. E is already present here. D comma E with 0 would got that E. It is a old state. What is the new state in this one? Yes, C is that new state. So that's why you can take the new state. Here the C. Current state with the C, current input with the 0, current state with that C, current state with the C, current input is the 1. You can find out the next state. So delta C comma 0, delta C comma 1. Current state is the C, current input is the 0. What is it? Goes to the next which state? C with 0. Yes, it is a pi. There is no path. Current state is the C, current input is the 1, C with 1, it goes to that B. It goes to that B. So that's why they turn that B. B is already present, C comma E with 1. So any new state is there? No, nothing. So it is that created the transition table for DFA. Now draw the transition table. In the previously, transition diagram for NFA is given. Transition diagram NFA is given. By using the transition table of DFA, we want to draw that, which here that transition diagram of NFA. See that it is very simple. How many states are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 states are there. Previously, only 5 states in the NFA. Now can take A, B, C, D, A comma, B comma, C comma, D comma, E. It is a one state. One more state is that A. State can be represented like this. D comma E. B comma D comma E. One more state. Total how many states? 8 states. Now can take. In this one, E is the final state, A is that initial state. And E. A also state. C comma E. One more state. And it is a B. B is also one more state. And it is a C. It is a one more state. What is the final state in the NFA? E. In the DFA, where that E is present in that which state? Here the E is present. So it is also final state. But in this state, E is also present. It is also final state. In this B, D, B comma, D comma, E is present in this state. So here that E is also final state. D comma E, E is present here. But here that it is also final state. Mean how to determine the final state in the DFA? First of all, you are going to find out what is that final state in that NFA. Whether that A is present in that DFA or not. If here that E is present, then it is a final state. Right. Now take, according to that transition table of DFA, we want to draw that transition diagram of DFA. A, current state is the A with 0. A with 0. Yes, it goes to that A comma, B comma, C comma, D. Right? A with 1. A with 1. It goes to that D comma E. D comma E. This one is over. Current state is that A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D with 0. We receive that. Next state is that A, B, C, D. Mean you can take that itself. It is that 0. A, B, C, D with 1. So goes to that B, D, E. Yes, it is a B, D, E. A, B, C, D with A, B, C, D, E with 1. It goes to that B, D, E. This one is over. Next, take the state D comma E. D comma E with 0. It goes to that E. 0. D comma E with 1. Pi. There is no path. Next state is the B comma D comma E. Yes, this one, B comma D comma E. With B comma D comma E with that 0, it goes to that C. It is 0. B comma D comma E with current state. Current input is that 1. It goes to that E. Next, current state is that E. E with 0, no path. E with 1, pi, no path. Next, take that current state is that C comma E. C comma E, no path. We have to C comma E. C comma E with 0, there is no path. C comma with 1, it goes to the which state? Yes, B. C comma E with current state, with that current input E1, it goes to that B. Next, now can take the state B. What is that? B with 0. Current state is the B. With that current input is the 0. It goes to that C. B with 0, it goes to that C. B with 1. Current state is the B. With that current input is 1. B with 1. B with 1, it goes to that E. B with 1. Next, take that. One more state. Here the C. C with 0. Current state is the C. Current input is that 0. So there is no path. Take the pi. Q, here that current state is the C. C with 1. C with 1, it goes to that next state B. C with 1. This is the final transition diagram of DFA. Finally, we convert the NFA is given, that will be converted into that DFA, deterministic finite automata. So in the NFA, it's having that only one final state E. But in the DFA, it's having that 1, 2, 3, 4 final state. Because of where that E is present in that any one of the state, that state should be a final state. So clearly I was given that here that state diagram of DFA. ABCD with 0 itself only. ABCD with 1, it goes to that BDE. ABCD with over. Next, A with 0, it goes to that ABCD. A with 1, here that D. And here that D with 0. So whatever E, 1 mean pi. So BD with 0, it goes to that C. BD with the current input is 1, it goes to that E. Similarly, B with 0, yes, it goes to that C. B with 1, it goes to that E. Next, C with 0, nothing, it is a pi. C comma E with 1, it goes to that B. C, here that C with 0, it is a pi. And C with 1, it goes to that B. This is that final transition diagram of DFA. Okay, thank you one and all. Then continue in that next video. Thank you.